Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to first thank the governor for offering his budget proposal during this joint session that we had today. But what we heard today is going to force me to repeat what I said last year after the governor's budget address. And that is, it's long on aspirations and short on details. The budget proposal is more of the same: more debt, more spending, as my colleague said. He recognizes it. More debt, more spending. Most importantly, this budget proposal doesn't address some of the serious structural issues we face, such as the consistent refrain from administration overspending. Once again, we have a proposal before us which is asking for more money than we all agreed to in June. It is logical, kind of, to think that the budget is passed in June, signed by the governor into law, would set the spending limits for our state agencies. But it appears this administration that the laws are viewed as merely guidelines. Instead, the Department of Human Services has taken the position that they don't need to be responsible and live within the statutory limits. The DHS secretary seems to think of the budget that has been signed into law by the governor as just a mere suggestion. We're being asked to increase DHS's current yearly budget by nearly $500 million. This is a 4% overreach. People would get fired in the private sector for that kind of a performance. We need to send the message that what we agreed to in June and the governor signs into law needs to be followed. We understand that only the Almighty is perfect, and that when we work with projections, sometimes things don't line up exactly the way we thought. What we're seeing out of DHS is well outside the margin of error. Continuing on the theme of mismanagement and lack of effort to control the budget, we arrived at the Department of Corrections. The General Assembly has worked hard on criminal justice reform, which has lowered our prison populations and put formerly incarcerated individuals on a path to rejoining society. We've also closed old prisons, built new ones, which are supposed to control inmate movement and are more efficient and safer. However, despite those reforms, the Department of Corrections continues to spend more than we budget. The overtime cost in the Department of Corrections is simply unacceptable. The Secretary of Corrections needs to take this seriously, or the governor needs to find somebody who will. 2 years ago, we passed legislation that was signed by the governor to help lower the debt limit here in Pennsylvania on the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program, commonly known to all of us as RCAP. Now we're expected not only stop those good things that we did with debt reform that we all agreed to, but to go back complete in the other direction and increase the debt limit in that program by over 30%. For the last year, the governor has been crisscrossing the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, promising everyone that every local problem they have can be solved by Restore PA. Need a new dam? Restore PA. Need a new park? Restore PA. Need better internet? Restore PA. Need new solar panels? Restore PA. Forget about penicillin. Restore PA seems to be the wonder drug that can solve the world's ills. The question is, what is the trade-off to get all these wonderful improvements? It's only going to cost you $5 billion. Let me say that again. It'll only cost you $5 billion. Why pay today when you can put it off until tomorrow and pay it? I also need to address another serious concern that everyone in this chamber should have, and that is the utter lack of concern with communicating with the House of Representatives on important issues. In October of this administration, not only partially complied with the law by submitting to the General Assembly a list of potential supplemental needs. The law also required the administration to give this General Assembly written notice of why those supplementals were going to be needed. The Budget Office completely ignored the law and that section of the law. And could it be that maybe they ignored that section of the law to avoid scrutiny of their overspending? This budget session and season, we need to focus on creating a budget that keeps spending growth low, makes a substantial investment in our rainy day fund, and enacting more of the budgetary reforms that this chamber passed last spring. I'm confident that these priorities reflect the priorities of the citizens of this Commonwealth that we all represent here. We have proven that both sides of this House, Democrat and Republican, have worked together with the governor and the Senate to build a fiscally sound budget that puts the needs of our Pennsylvania taxpayers first. We need a budget that goes beyond aspirations and lays out a concrete path to carry Pennsylvania forward. Mr. Speaker, thank you, and I look forward to working with my good friend, the Chairman Bradford, on a budget season, good budget. Thank you.